Hello and welcome to this guided meditation. Today we will be visiting the Psoas muscle, the sacral chakra, spending some time with the inner child, as well as a little focus on the heart center. We're going to begin by drawing our focus to this present moment, drawing awareness inward to the lungs, coming back to the breath. Breath is our constant companion. Every moment of our lives, our breath is there with us. And I invite you to breathe into the belly if that's available. This is called a cleansing breath. As we breathe in, the diaphragm moves slightly downward and compresses the muscles of the GI system, the organs there, which helps massage them, which in turn helps with digestion. So just like the oxygen we bring into our blood helps filter out toxins, these gentle compressions help stimulate our digestive system. So a cleansing breath really is a cleansing breath in so many ways. And as you focus on this breath, you can also bring attention to what is supporting you. The chair, couch, maybe the floor, maybe a bed. Feel how that structure holds you, cradles you. You can also take a moment here to notice if your body is holding on to any tension. See if you can breathe into that space. And on the exhale, imagine it melting a bit. And if it's still there, that's okay. If you don't want to follow my words to the letter, that's also okay. Either way, during this time, I'm holding space for you, for your health, and sending you love and energy through these words, through the ether. Isn't that amazing? So there's really nothing to do. I will guide us through some imagery here that you can take or leave. So having taken a moment to notice the body and any tension it's holding on to, maybe in muscles or joints or even a chakra or an organ. And keeping those nice, deep, cleansing breaths at a rhythm that feels comfortable for you. Now I invite you to bring your attention and awareness back down into the lower lungs. Can you imagine yourself as tiny and just existing in between the lower lungs, inside your body, magic school bus style? What would that look like as you breathe in and out? Now, as though your awareness and attention is traveling downward, you're traveling downward in a little elevator, I invite you to bring that attention and awareness right down to the pelvic floor. And why the pelvic floor? Well, there are a few reasons. This is the area of our body where the sacral chakra is held. The sacral chakra is an energy center in our body that holds certain energies and frequencies, one being the inner child, another space emotions, those big feelings we can sum up with one word, like fear, sadness, loneliness, anger, joy. Another aspect of the sacral chakra energy is Kundalini, which is a beautiful, creative, fiery energy that lives at the base of our spine. And there's another gorgeous part of this area of the body, a muscle called the psoas. The psoas is so important. It's the only muscle in our body that connects to the spine and wraps all the way around to the front of the pelvis, forming a bowl shape. And in energy circles, we call this the bowl of the soul. A place in our body that actually creates a bowl, a cradle that holds our sacral chakra. And because it connects to the spine and wraps around to connect to the hip flexors, this muscle, the psoas, also holds a lot of energy relating to our fight or flight response, our trauma response. So if we find ourselves in tumultuous times, both our sacral chakra, our beautiful, innocent inner child, and our psoas muscles can feel really rocked. Maybe think back to the early days of COVID, when there was a lot of fear, but we couldn't really go anywhere or do anything with it. Maybe other times that you've suffered significant loss. The energy of this place in our body can really hold on to all of that. The sacral chakra, psoas muscles, they hold things. So I invite you to imagine yourself as this very small being, and like you're visualizing standing inside this beautiful bowl of the soul, right in the center, as though these two petals are coming up around you like a gorgeous amphitheater. And there you are in this wonderful bowl, right next to your sacral chakra. And that ball of energy can look like anything you wish. It can look like an orb, a cut gem, even a ball of light. And recognizing that our thoughts and emotions are so powerful that they create physical changes and reactions in real time, such as when we're scared and our muscles tense up, or when we're sad or happy and neuropeptides release into the brain. When we understand this, we can understand how when we meditate or when we send love to our bodies, why our bodies will respond and absorb that love. So I invite you to visualize yourself there in the cradle of the pelvic floor, psoas petals rising up around you, saying to your sacral chakra, silently or out loud, I love you. You're holding a lot of emotion and energy. I thank you for holding this. Thank you for working so hard. I appreciate you. You are beautiful. You can repeat these words as many times as is comfortable. And it's okay if it feels silly to imagine yourself talking to a part of your body. Luckily, your body doesn't realize how silly it is. Your body just absorbs the love. Now, as I said, one aspect of the chakra is the inner child. Sometimes when we go through traumatic situations, that inner child is the first to feel the fear. And sometimes, for some of us, the times we felt fear as children was when we weren't given what we needed. We were not protected, or we were told to suck it up, get over it. Don't feel that way, or any other combination of unhelpful and invalidating things. Luckily, we have an opportunity as adults to be who we needed when we were children. So I invite you now to imagine that next to you, still within this beautiful bowl of the soul that rises up on either side, that there is your inner child. I invite you to take their hands in yours. Look into their eyes. What do they look like? What is their facial expression? And any emotions that bubble up as you visualize this and make it real for you, they are allowed. Emotions that rise to the surface of our awareness are clues for what parts of us need love and what parts of us need us to offer now what we were not offered as children. And I invite you to look into the eyes of this beautiful, innocent, perfect child and say, I love you. You are safe with me. The feelings of fear and loneliness or discomfort, the feelings of not having enough or being enough, those are allowed. We are allowed to feel every single emotion that rises into our awareness without judgment or shame, so long as we meet them in love and acceptance, and we meet those around us with as much love and acceptance as we can. And say to this inner child, I love you. You are perfect in my eyes. Your innocence is a treasure, and I cherish you. Thank you. Thank you, my dearest and beautiful inner self. We are safe. And I promise you now that I will love you and honor all of your feelings, all of your experiences. Keep you safe. It will keep you safe because you are a wonderful and cherished being. You are enough. You are loved. Thank you so much for being with me. Maybe taking a moment to notice how that feels in your body. If in this daydream space, this inner child has a certain look about them or something that they're even saying to you. This is something that you can do any moment of the day. To check in and remind your inner child, your inner self, that they are enough, that you are here for them. And that together You can feel secure. Now, having made this pact with your inner child, I invite you now to shift your attention to the psoas muscle itself as you sit in this beautiful amphitheater of the soul. Allow your imagination to fill in what that looks like. The muscle tissues, the fascia, the gorgeous marbling of veins and nerve cells as they wind through. And just as you sent those loving thoughts from your heart and mind to the inner child and to the sacral chakra, now we will do the same for the muscle tissues itself. Imagine golden light coursing through all of the veins, all those trillions of nerve endings, the spaces between the muscle cells, the sheer, smooth fascia. As you imagine this, understand that the reason we're holding such space and offering such healing to the psoas muscle is because this is a muscle that not only holds emotional energy in the sacral chakra, it also holds so much for the trauma response system, that fight or flight. And if you've gone through hard times, uncertainty, fear, divisiveness, maybe there have been times where you wanted to run and you couldn't. Times where you wanted to leave or get up and you couldn't. So that energy of wanting to run is still generated, and instead it's held, warehoused, and stored within those muscle tissues. And when we can't run and we can't fight, the next step is to freeze and fold. For some of us, that can mean collapse. So if you felt yourself at times being more fatigued, even though your energy, the physical activity isn't really changing that much throughout the day, that makes sense. Your body might be naturally reacting to circumstances happening around it, to stress. And when we offer love and gratitude to our bodies, for engaging these wise systems of survival, the healing ripples throughout our entire being. Not just our body, but our emotions and our thoughts. So again, I invite you to visualize this beautiful golden healing energy that is your birthright. You do not have to be a wizard to send to your body. You can simply imagine it, and it will begin to flow. Allow this to flow right through those muscle tissues and fascia of the psoas and surrounding muscles. And say, thank you. Thank you so much. I honor you. You're working so hard. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for keeping me safe, for knowing what to do, for being a wise system. Now I invite you to bring your attention back, and up up, up out of the pelvic floor and into the heart, as though your tiny little magic school bus self is ascending up into the heart chakra itself, right into the center. Just like our sacral chakra and our inner child, the heart chakra holds a lot of emotional energy. What would it be like if you could look out from within your heart center? If your heart was a set of windows looking out on the world, what would that look like? And what would it look like on the inside? For some of us, we might see so much beauty out there and yet feel so far from it. And our inside might feel dingy or cluttered or shadowy or dark. And if that's your experience, that's okay. Part of evolving, growing as a person is learning how to love ourselves. It's okay. None of us are going to get it right all the time. And none of us are going to get it right the first time. But for this moment, I invite you to turn inward to that inner sanctum of your heart chakra, that seat of your love and compassion and kindness, as well as the seat of your heartache and grief, and say, I love you. And the grief you feel is very real and allowed. It's no less important because there may be other people who are suffering more. It's no more important than other people's grief who might be suffering less. It's not meant for comparison. Grief simply exists. It is allowed and it belongs. And say to that heart chakra, and I love you. Thank you. You are working so hard. It is beautiful and I see you. And if we are somebody who maybe has not been validated or felt validated in our lives through relationships or modeling or in our communities, it can be really hard to give that validation to ourselves. So sometimes it helps to start with just a small doable piece. One chakra, one muscle, one emotion, one organ at a time. Allowing yourself permission to validate pieces of yourself. There is integrity in that. So much integrity in just telling yourself, I love you. You're working really hard. Now I invite you to bring your awareness back to the breath. Understanding that as we breathe in and out, that breath not only nourishes and replenishes our body, it also connects us to nature, community. And what we exhale is what we send out. It's our energy that we send forth to the world around us, our relationships, our treatment of the earth. So ask yourself, what are you allowing yourself to take in? And what are you exhaling? What are you sending out? What energy are you allowing into your space? And what energy are you giving to the world through something as simple as breath? And I don't say that to imply that every bad mood or snappish word you may have, you're terrorizing the world around you. That's not it. But we can be conscious of what we're consuming. And we can be conscious of how we can transmute energy and send forth love. Just like we sent love to that inner child, to the psoas muscle, to the heart. What are we consuming through media, through what we pay attention to, through what we surround ourselves with? And what are we sending out, sending forth? These are not questions that need to be answered aloud today or ever. They are allowed to simply exist in mystery. So I invite you to bring your awareness back to your whole body. And if there are parts, muscles, joints that need to shift and stretch, be released, please do that. Meditation is not about forcing ourselves to be strident and still and rigid all the time. And here, feeling that juiciness and stretch and expansion, feeling the body as a whole, feeling the beautiful, sturdy structures that have held you throughout this meditation. We will take 3 deep breaths of gratitude. 1 for the mind. 1 for the body. And 1 for the spirit.